All right, we're here with UVA Wise head coach Gary Bass, second year at UVA Wise. We appreciate you taking some time today to talk some Cavaliers football.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, entering year two, we had this conversation almost exactly a year ago to the day. How different are you as a head coach? What have you learned in the past year about your team, about your program that will help you now into your second year at UVA Wise and in the SAC?
I think number one, a familiarity with the way things are done here. I mean, every university has their own operating way about going to do things. Having a better handle on those things so that you don't have to take as much time learning things. You kind of understand a flow of things, which gives you more time back on the back end when it comes to getting things done. I think that's always big as a head coach. Outside of that, I just think I got a better feel for our players as a whole, the returners that we've got, understanding exactly what they're talented at. We've had two spring balls now and an actual football season to be able to see where those guys are at, to get two recruiting classes under our belt as a coaching staff, to be able to get more guys in here that they're going to fit the mold towards what we're looking for a football program. And I'd say number three, even though I played in the league, it'd been a while since I've been in it. So getting an opportunity with some newer teams that weren't in the league whenever I was a player, to kind of see how everybody stacked up and matched up when it came to different things. So I definitely say those are probably the big ones.
If you look back on the 2024 season at Wise, what are some of the takeaways from that year, some of the positives, maybe some of the negatives of the 2024 season for you all?
Well, I think number one, you look at overall record. I think it's always important to look at. I mean, you are what your record says you are. They've been 2-9 for I think 2 or 3 years in a row. They'd only won one Division two game, and that being Erskine, who's not even in the league anymore. So for us to win four games, to beat Catawba in my first home game, even though it was my alma mater, didn't like talking about it, but it was special when it happened. I'm not gonna lie. But I know they're a great football team, and Coach Haynes is doing really good things there. And they kind of got bit by the injury bug a lot last year, which was a big piece of that one. Getting an opportunity to then beat Barton, Coach Hester, who was my head coach when I played at Catawba, beating Tusculum and then beating Concord. So winning four Division two games, which is I think the first time that's happened since they joined the SAC. If my memory serves me correct, I think was big. Having opportunities in a few other games. Had a couple touchdowns called back against Anderson. It was a tight game the entire way through, but had our opportunities and let that one slip out of our hands, which as a first year head coach that unfortunately you're going to run into a situation like that where you kind of just don't play your perfect style of game, and unfortunately got beat by a good team. I mean, Anderson was not your typical first year program by any means. I thought they played everybody very, very well last year. I mean, had an opportunity, I think, to tie the game against LR at the end of the season with a field goal if they'd hit it. So, I mean, they're more than capable to beat anybody in this league. Outside of that, I think the biggest improvement we showed last year was looking at where they were from a penalty standpoint. They were almost one of the dead last teams in the country. When it came to the penalties, they were like 118th or something like that. We were somewhere in the top 25, the top 30 when it came to penalties last year. We had under half the penalty yardage that they had. So, from a discipline standpoint, I thought it was much better than what I thought that could have been the case. Special teams wise, I think was definitely another area that we improved on vastly from the year before, because that's all I can go off of is where they were from the year prior for us getting here. Still plenty of things from a special team standpoint that we got to get fixed. But I definitely think that was a huge plus for us. I'd say the biggest things that we've got to improve on the most. Number one, we got to do a better job in the turnover battle, especially when Jake Corcoran got hurt. We had some turnover issues down the stretch. Cooper Wick, who came in and was our backup last year, had a conference player of the week game against Tusculum, but unfortunately we had some turnover issues from an interception standpoint that kind of put us behind the eight ball in some of those other games in times. But I mean, overall turnover mark, we got to force more turnovers on defense. We didn't force enough last year defensively, and there down the stretch we kind of turned the ball over too much offensively. So I definitely said that's the biggest thing. Last piece is I don't ever think you can always get better in situational football, whether you're talking red zone or third down. So, I mean, those are always going to be huge things to improve upon this year.
This is just purely a question of, me wanting to know. You ended last year, you won two of your last three. You beat Tusculum, and then you ended the year with the win over Barton, close win over Barton. Does that like carry any momentum going into next year, or is that so long ago that that's kind of done and forgotten?
I mean, I definitely think winning that last game of the season always helps springboard some momentum going into the offseason. I definitely think it helps your players' morale and mental side of things when you get back in January. I think when you get to the point in time where we're at now, I don't know if it's as big of a deal because it's been so long ago from that standpoint. But I mean, I definitely think it always helps. I think the biggest thing for us is we've got to make sure that when we have opportunities to win some ball games, that we've got to put games away. Like Marshall's a great football team. Coach Clifton and them have done a phenomenal job. Heck, those guys recruited me whenever I was coming out of high school. But we had opportunities in that game to have an opportunity to win it, and unfortunately, we had too many turnovers in the red zone that kept us from winning it. We had a couple touchdowns called back against Anderson, which really put us behind the eight ball, which would have gave us an opportunity to win that game as well. So I mean, I'm very pleased with where we were for being 4-6, but I definitely think there were a couple games that we had opportunities to be there. I know you look at also the Carson Newman game, who had a phenomenal year last year, and we didn't start very well, but we had an opportunity before Jake got hurt to pull that within a one-score game in the fourth quarter against a team that made the playoffs. I mean, all in all, I felt like our guys battled. They played for each other, and we did some really good things. And unfortunately, we did make those mistakes in those games. And we've got to find a way this year as a coaching staff and a team to not allow them to do those things.
Let's look ahead now to the 2025 season and kind of break down what you got offensively and defensively. I know you got some key pieces offensively coming back. You talked about your quarterback there, Corcoran. Jake Corcoran will be returning. You got a couple honorable mention all conference performers and running back Ian Scammell and wide receiver Seth Fishback. Why don't you talk about maybe just those guys or the offense in general?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 7 guys coming back that started. We got some other guys that played some significant minutes. I'd say the biggest group that we lost was some veteran guys up front. I mean, that's always going to be a hard blow and something difficult to fix, but we feel really good about that freshman group that we brought in and some of the returners that got another spring ball under their belts with us to have an opportunity to replace some of those guys. But like you said, this game revolves so much around having a trigger man that has experience and that can come in and do the things that he needs to do. And Jake had a really, really good season in those first 7-ish games, 6 3/4, whatever it was, before he got hurt. Was playing very, very well. My memory serves me correct. I think he threw for close to 1,800 yards or so, 1,700, somewhere in that neighborhood. Took care of the football well, made some plays with his feet, and took care of it when we needed to in the red zone. So, I mean, having him back that's got numerous years of experience is huge. We're expecting a big year out of him. You look at the running back room, Ian Scammell, who led us in rushing, was honorable mention all conference player. And he was only a redshirt freshman last year. So, I mean, he's only going to be a sophomore this year, and he's got an opportunity from a strength standpoint and to be a core piece of what we're trying to do in the run game. Seth Fishback has been steady Eddie for us at receiver. He does a really good job of going after in high point footballs and just making plays when he's asked to. Outside of that, we got 2 starter O linemen coming back, Will Rudisill and Zach Plunk, that have got numerous years of starting under their belt, which is going to be a huge piece for us when we're trying to get 3 new guys into that mix. Tight end room outside of Dorian Goddard, which is a huge loss. We've got a lot of guys that played a ton of minutes. So, I mean, feel really good about the guys that we got coming back at receiver. DJ Powell, another one who was a great receiver, but also very dynamic for us in kick return as well. So, I mean, we feel very, very good about where we're at right now with the guys that we got coming back offensively and where we're able to go year 2 of this offense.
Sure, and let's flip to the other side of the ball. I know you gave some names to kind of to look out for this year on kind of a couple levels on the defensive front, but why don't you talk about your defense and some of your keys there?
Well, kind of like I said a minute ago, because I think it all starts up front. Everything's for us defensively is going to start with our defensive line. If you can't get after the passer and you can't disrupt run schemes, you're not going to be able to be very good on defense. You can't cover for forever, and linebackers can't make easy tackles when you got linemen getting to the second level and being able to get to them easily. So, I mean, Katie Long, who's going to be another all-conference guy, I think, for us in the future. I thought he had a great football season last year. He was somewhere in the top 15, if my memory serves me correct, in tackles for loss. Last year, smart, savvy, technique-wise, he's getting better every day. Strong, tough, just a really good football player for us. Bryson Myers, another guy, defensive line-wise, This one's kind of a funny story. We recruited Bryce when we first got here as a linebacker from Greenville in Tennessee. And then about week 6 or week 7, we had some injuries along the front, and we actually moved him down to play defensive end. And he ended up starting the last 4 games of the season for us, at least at the end. And he's put on weight. He's about 255 pounds. I mean, he's strong. He's athletic. He does so many good things, and he's so tough. Simeon John, who was a true freshman for us, just like Bryson last year, and played significant minutes for us on the interior of the defensive line. And then we got guys like Davion Jackson, Emmanuel Scott. List continues for other guys that we got it. Jimmy Simmons, who moved from linebacker down to defensive end. So some things that I think guys are going to do a really good job being in their second year again of the defensive system that will allow them to be able to make adjustments easier. It's always nice to do that. Linebackers definitely got to be a strong point for us on defense. I mean, Brub Hines going to be a senior this year, our starting Mike linebacker. We kind of have a 2A and a 1A and a 1B standpoint at Mike. I mean, Brub led us in tackles, and then Jalen Pickens, I think, who was technically his backup, but was 1B as far as we're concerned, was second in tackles. So when you have 2 Mike linebackers that can do the things those 2 can do, and Brub's a senior and Jalen's only going to be a sophomore, you're very, very lucky. Then you look at some other guys, Nasir Sproul, who unfortunately got mono last year, and we had to medically redshirt him. But he played in the beginning of the season as a starter coming back. Quintus Adams played a ton of football as a true freshman last year for us. And you look at our weak side backer, and we got DeCorian Jones-Montgomery, who's as physical as it comes, tough, smart, got a lot of experience. He's going to be a senior. And then Raphael Mays, another guy that we feel very, very strong. So, I mean, we feel good about a lot of guys in that room and the things that they can do for us, and we don't really worry about which one of them on the field. Secondary wise, we had some guys that came in mid-year that did some good things for us at corner, and we got some other guys that we had as freshman class that played a ton last year that I think are going to do some good things. So we're really, really excited where we are on defense right now. I think we got some good pieces mid-year, and then we think we got some guys that played a ton for us in significant minutes all over the board for us.
You start the season with a Concord team that you shut out last year. You beat them 28-0 on your turf. You'll be on the road for that one before hopping into some conference play. And then, how cool is this? You get to play at Catawba in the first SAC road game of the year. Your old field, right? Is that going to bring back some old memories for you?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice being able to start the season at home. I mean, if you look at our schedule this year, it's very home laden in the front end of the schedule. So we 100% expect Concord to come in here and be a good football team. They got a lot of transfers specifically from Limestone that have come in. Their new head football coach is an alum from here. So for him, this is going to be an important game for him as well. I expect to have a extremely tough, physical, hard-fought game in that one. Week 1, we've got to come out and we've got to play well. Just because we beat them last year 28-0 at their place doesn't mean anything about this football season. We've got to come out and we've got to do the exact same thing this year. And we wholeheartedly expect a tough one. Then you got Newberry at home, which unfortunately that was the one game for us. We didn't get to play 3 guys last year. Limestone, of course, unfortunately didn't have a team anymore, but LR and Newberry, we didn't get an opportunity to play. Newberry because of the hurricane, so that's going to be a huge one for us to kind of still fill them out a little bit is the coaching staff because we haven't had a chance to see it. And then I mean week 3 is what it is. I mean, is it going to be pretty special to be in that stadium for the first time in a while in a game atmosphere? Yeah, it's going to be weird a little bit being on the other sideline, but just kind of like I said last year, I was very cautious, and I didn't say a word about them all week. Like I say all the time, one of the biggest things I tell our players every week is every opponent's faceless and nameless. They have to be. It's about us and what we need to do to get better. That does not mean any disrespect towards who we're playing, but we've got to play our best caliber of football. And if you're worried about the opponent, I think that brings emotional things in that cause you to make decisions and choices that are not rational. And we've got to be able to come out there and play good football regardless who it is. And I think I think after that one, I think we come back at home again for 2 straight games. I think we've got Wingate somehow. Well, I think it's just Wingate from what I've been told. Wingate's 3rd time in a row coming up here. Thank God that defense is like graduated. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they've got plenty of guys to replace them. But I mean that defensive unit and that whole team, how disciplined and physical and tough they were last year was it was something else. Then I think we got Tusculum, which again year two and for them as well. They're going to be a lot better football team. I wholeheartedly believe that. And then I mean then we've got to make sure that we take care of business down the stretch. But I definitely think a key to our entire football season is that front end of that schedule, not because I'm sitting here saying that there's teams that we can win. We got to go out and play well every week or we're going to lose. But when you got four of your first five at home, we've got to do a really good job in winning, try to win some games early to get some momentum so that when we do go down that stretch towards the end of the season and we go to when we have to go to an Anderson, when we have to go to Carson Newman and LR and whoever else is at the end of that gauntlet, Mars Hill, and then Emory comes here last. I mean, we got to be ready. So we got to be in a good position from that standpoint.
There you go, Coach Bass. We appreciate you taking some time today. Wish you all the best at UVA Wise in the 2025 season, and thanks again for your time.
Thank you.